But the question is, do you have enough awareness to recognize how your purpose is helping other people? Because I guarantee you, you'll get more inspired and you'll become more committed to fulfilling your purpose when you realize that there are other people counting on you.
Are you ready?
Yeah, you know I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go!
We're choosing to unlock the treasures from within. Winners don't back down, now we move forward. Destiny awaits, you got the power, so now roar. This is Relentless Conversations. Destiny awaits, you gotta move forward. Never back down, man, we always move forward. We got the power, it's locked within. My friend, you never give in, cause it's your time to win. This is Relentless Conversations.
Welcome to Relentless Conversations, where the conversations are always to push you forward in your destiny. The battle is yours to win. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Yo, what's going on, fam? This is your boy, Noel. Back again, Relentless Conversations. We're doing another episode. Y'all know how it goes down. Every Thursday is going down, bringing heat. I got different guests, that I always gonna bring some type of value to you all. So the guy that I'm bringing on today, man, he is always dropping gems after gems. You can follow him on Instagram at Coach Vic. Listen, every time we talk, it's always some gems. This guy, when he opens his mouth, he's just spitting gems. I think he eats gems for breakfast or something. But he is a motivational speaker, a leadership development coach, and he is a diversity and inclusion strategist. Man, we need to bring you to my job. But I'm gonna let him introduce himself. So what's going on, Coach Vic, sir? How's it going today?
Man, it's amazing, man. And you got to stop hyping me up like that, man. I promise you, that's the stuff that go to my head and my family. They ain't gonna know what to do with me, man. You can't talk about me like that. I hope this is recorded so I can play it back for them.
Yeah. It's definitely recorded, man.
That's gonna work. That's gonna work.
So how's everything going on your side of the world? Well, we're not that far from each other, but
Correct. But life is good, man. I can't complain, to be quite honest. A lot of the stuff that we got going on right now as a family, a lot going on in my personal, a lot going on in my business life. It's keeping me grounded because all of it is new. And you know how when you get put in new environments, you're forced to stretch, you're forced to get uncomfortable. Yeah. But what I go into these situations with is understanding that comfort is just or growth is just on the other side of my comfort zone. So, I embrace this moment, man. I'm starting a new chapter is how I've been categorizing this.
Absolutely. I think this season has really been bringing in a lot of different changes, man. And I'm loving it, especially to see everybody that I'm connected to see the changes that everybody is going through, man. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you this question, and usually when I ask people this question, it catches them off guard. It catches them by surprise.
All right, here we go.
So my question is, who was Coach Vic?
Ooh, who was? It's funny because I used to be the athlete. That's what people knew me was. Before I was a coach, I was the player. Yeah. And I think for a lot of people, recognizing that phase of their life is over helps them to transition. So I used to be the athlete who was all about winning, who hated to lose more than he loved to win, but was willing to also put in the work. Coach Vic used to be the guy who tried to please everybody. I wanted everybody to be happy. I wanted everybody to like me. And I realized early on, I had a gift to be a chameleon, that I could blend in a bunch of different circles, right?
Yeah.
But in that, I didn't realize in my younger age how that was also detrimental to me, because it was exhausting trying to keep up with who I had to be in this circle and who I needed to be in this circle. I never got to turn it off. It was always on. Now, there was a part of that that helped me to grow, right? It helped me to live life on purpose, as we say on Purpose Addicts, right? It helped me to understand that when you show up, you got to show out. So there was some good that I learned from that and that I gained from it, but I also had to find balance. And so who Coach Vic was, the Libra in me, my Libra scales were off balance. Who I am now, I got balance in my life.
So how did who you was help you to where you are now, the Coach Vic that we see right now?
Yeah. So I always knew in anything, whether it been regarding school or any new project or sports, I wasn't the biggest, the fastest, the strongest. I didn't have the total package. I had a lot of good attributes, right? But I had to learn that in order for me to level the playing field, I had to keep working on those things that I could get better at. I had to keep working on becoming a technician of my craft. And by spending the time, even by myself back then, going to work out and learning about the little techniques that would give me that advantage, it shows up now in my life now because I'm so used to that. That's who I am. When I embark on something new, all right, what's the technique of it? I got to try to be as efficient with my steps and with my actions and with my effort so that I can level the playing field. So when people see me show up, like you said, starting the show, it feels like I eat gems for breakfast. Well, I had to learn how to wake up every morning and feed my soul, feed my spirit with good information. Even when I didn't have anything or anybody else pouring into me, I had to do that for myself. And so that's a lot of what you see in me now. It's understanding what I did back then to get to the top of my game and being willing to humble myself and be a freshman all over again at this stage in life and say, all right, you got to earn what you want. You got to gain that respect through work, through dedication, through commitment, through finishing, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of what, shaped who I was. I just had this conversation with my daughter about the finish line. When you run a race, as you're preparing, you can see the finish line. You can see it very clearly. You know where it is. But in sports, they teach you don't just run to the line, run through the line. And so when you see me running through the line. I don't pull up at the line because I'm almost there. Oh, this is over. Because that's where you could lose it. You could lose it in the end, just in that little millisecond.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah. One thing that you said that I love is that, you feed yourself and you pour into yourself, even if there isn't no one, there to do it. And I don't think people realize how important that is to feed your spirit, to feed your mental. And, we allow everything else to feed us. And we don't think about blocking certain stuff. Cause I like to consider myself a sponge, but I'm a sponge with a filter because I can't soak up everything in me, because you try to soak up everything, man, you'll be all over the place. You'll be a hot mess. So my question for you is, because you used to be an athlete, and we know in games, you're going to take some wins, you're going to take some losses. And as I got older, I don't like to consider my losses as losses. That's just lessons. Yeah. So you being that competitive person, how do you deal with those lessons?
Ooh, man. So when I was a kid and I first started playing football, I used to cry when we lost. I was that kid that you would look over as the coach is bringing all the kids up, and I'm over there like fighting back tears, right? I didn't know how to handle the loss. I didn't understand that there was a lesson in it. Yeah. Although that's what the next week was about. My coaches taught me that, okay, remember last week when you did this and then the other team was able to stop us? Here's the lesson. Now, fast forward as an adult, as a husband, as a father, I have to be my own coach. Yeah. I have to pour into myself and have that conversation that said, hey, remember the last time a similar situation like this popped up? What did you do? you have to take a self-inventory. You have to self-assess, and you have to take accountability for your actions and your decisions, right? Me and Shane did an episode one time, and I asked him this question. I said, what's the difference between consequences, results, and outcomes? Consequences, results, and outcomes. A lot of people hear consequences and they think negativity. They think of a repercussion, a punishment. But if you look up the definition of all three, you'll find that they synonyms. So technically, a positive outcome is also the consequence of positive behavior. And so thinking about my consequences, outcomes, and results that I want for myself, I now take my losses and I say, what decisions did I make prior that is resulting in this consequence and outcome? And if this isn't what I want, how can I improve that? So the next game, the next chance I get to play, I win. The result is different.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So it's all about that strategy of looking of that timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I think anybody can source a moment in their life back to a decision that they made or didn't make, right? Because they say when you don't make a decision, you made a decision.
Yeah.
Right. So all of us can source back. Well, if you know how to play the game of chess, if you at least know how the pieces move, and I ain't talking about being a chess expert, but if you understand the game of chess, anytime you make a move, you have to think before you make that move, what could they do? Then what would I do? Then what would they do? Then what would I do? Then what would they do? All in the moment. The reason for that is you're taking ownership of how this one single solitary move is going to impact me and the rest of the pieces on the board, the rest of the people I'm responsible for. I'm so thankful my daddy taught me how to play chess at a young age, because that's how I operate in life. I understand that my decisions impact the other pieces on the board. And so this outcome, this result, this consequence is from a move that I made 3 moves ago.
Wow. Wow. Now I never played chess or anything, but I can definitely relate, because anytime I think about my moves, I think about what could happen if I make this move, or even potential things that could happen. Because, like I say in my book, anytime you start planning for goals, you're also going to have opposition.
Yep.
And sometimes we know the opposition that's going to happen, and then there's times we don't even know what's going to happen.
Right.
It is like, okay, well, how do you make those adjustments? So let me ask you that. How do you make the adjustments for something you knew certain stuff that would probably happen, but what about the things that you didn't know that just caught you off guard?
I mean, at the end of the day, change is one of the only constants in life, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I love about you and listening to your content is you talk to people and you talk to an audience from a place of understanding that as much as you want to control the outcome, you're going to have to be ready to pivot. Yeah. Like you do a great job of illustrating being ready for that moment, right? To use a basketball reference, I'm a firm believer in using a pivot, right? Giving yourself a couple of options, right?
Yeah.
There's power in the pivot. At the end of the day, I'm still focused on forward. So when those things pop up, an obstacle, an opponent pops up in my way, I have to understand that although I have to pivot now, there's power in this pivot. I now have multiple ways to go. I could keep going on the path I was on. I could go this way. I could go that way. Or I could utilize one of my resources and dish it off and delegate, right? So when those pop up, I always ask myself, this needs to get done, but am I the one that has to do it? I don't think a lot of people ask themselves that. They think that they got to do everything, and that's why they end up getting burnt out. But I ask myself, this needs to get done. Am I the one that has to do it? Or is there a better resource or a better person who can help me get that done? Right?
Yeah.
I can't do it all. So when those things pop up, when change, adversity presents itself, here's an opportunity to show my true character. And my true character is always looking for opportunities to empower other people and to humble myself and ask for help when needed, but be willing to take it to the hole myself, because this pivot has a lot of power in it.
Yeah.
Fellow entrepreneur, it is Bobby Robinson, also known as the Influencer Attorney. And first of all, I'm sure by now you are enjoying the conversation with Relentless. I'm super excited to partner with Noel to offer 2 courses exclusively for his listeners. So the first course is a DIY business formation course. And this course is really for anybody who's trying to figure out what business entity. Is it an LLC? Is it a C Corp? So in this course, you'll learn everything you need to know about business entity formation, and I'll actually show you how to get it done in your respective state. The second course is a DIY trademark course, and this is one of my most popular courses. Everybody's trying to get their brand protected, and rightfully so. So in this course, I teach you everything that you need to know about trademarks, service marks, and more importantly, again, I literally show you step by step on how to get your brand protected by actually showing you how to file a trademark application. So I'm super excited to have you. Feel free to go ahead and register today, and I'll see you on the other side. Take care.
Man, you said a lot of key things, and even some things that I myself am starting to learn that I can't do everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because me trying to do everything will have K burnt out. And if I'm burnt out, I can't help nobody.
Right.
And, I know, we try to teach everybody how to do stuff yourself. And even in the midst of doing stuff yourself, it's still ways that you can do stuff yourself and still it brings ease, which is, what we were just talking about before we started recording. I'm trying to use different platforms to record. Using those platforms to record will help me on the editing side, because we all know editing can take a minute. And with me, I just don't throw stuff together. I have to make my stuff look a certain way. So
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, and that takes time. But if I can find resources that'll help me cut back on that editing and stuff, that's more time that I'm using for myself. That I can use elsewhere. I can use that time for my books now. Yep. So, we have to think about that. Does it cost? Yeah, but sometimes you got to pay for to free up your time.
True. Because you can't make more time. You can't create more. But what you can do is reutilize it and possibly give yourself back more time.
Yeah.
Right. It's funny. I was just talking with a leader yesterday. We had a coaching session. We were talking about time management.
Yeah.
And I always use this analogy with regards to delegation. Think about this. You every day put out your checklist of what you got to do, your to-do list, right?
Yeah.
If every day you pick one thing to delegate to somebody else that took an hour of time, 5 days a week, that's 5 extra hours a week.
Yeah.
You do that for 4 weeks straight, that's 20 extra hours a month. You do that for every month of the year, that's like 260 something extra hours a year. What could you do with your life with 260 plus extra hours free? Right? You think about how much more effective you could be, all from delegating one thing that took 1 hour.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important to empower the people and the resources around you.
Man, that is, I told y'all he spit gems.
I'm just sharing knowledge that somebody taught me or revelations that God has revealed to me, man. At the end of the day, we're supposed to be bridge builders. We're supposed to help people coming after us. Sometimes it sucks when we're going through because we got to be the first one.
Yeah.
In a lot of instances, right? But that doesn't mean that we have to leave everybody behind. Right. That just means you forge ahead because some people need to see that these mountains can be moved. So you go back and get everybody and show them it's safe. Or when they get there and they say, hey, have you ever come across this? Yeah, let me show you this bridge I built. Oh man, you just made my life easier. You did that for me with regards to editing.
Yeah.
Dude, a year ago, You showed me how to use that editing software that I had been struggling with. And bruh, it's changed my life. It's changed up what me and Shane have been able to do on our podcast, bro. All because you built a bridge. You did it first. That's what life is about.
Yeah. Well, now I got to build another bridge from that bridge.
Don't we all?
Yeah, it's time to make some adjustments now, because as we grow, as we grow and expand, more things are expected out of us, so to speak. So, and that goes back to the recording platform that I'm gearing up to use. And I understand that important. I don't think people, and I want to stress this, people don't understand the importance of time. Tell me your thoughts on that. Just time period. We've been hitting on that for a minute now.
Yeah. My professional career started in sales, and it was cold calling.
Okay.
You had to build a book of business from scratch. And so anytime that you were trying to source leads, people who could potentially be a customer, it usually was time consuming. Now, I only got 24 hours in a day. I'm married. I got kids who at that time were a young age. So they got homework, they got activities. I want to be involved in their life. So how do I balance my time to give enough to my business and growing it, and enough to my family to grow it as well? So what I realized early on was I had to commit myself to working hours, what I was going to work at, in order to accomplish the goal I wanted. If that meant coming in an extra hour early or staying an extra 30 minutes later a couple of days a week, then I'm gonna do that. But in that, whatever time I'm investing over here means I'm sacrificing it over here. And I think that that's, again, people not connecting the dots between the decisions that they make. If you invest it over here, that means you sacrificed it over here. And the question is, was that sacrifice worth it?
Okay. I'm gonna throw a curveball here.
Come on.
I'm gonna speak up for the person who has the job, who has the business, who has to get the kids ready, but also has to do all of this stuff. So how do I properly manage my time then?
So a lot of people, when you ask them, how do you manage your time, or what is the system you use to manage your time, they'll tell you, I don't have a system. So then my immediate response is, so you allowing other people to manage your time for you.
Yeah.
First, it's a mindset. It's a decision that you make saying, I'm going to control my time. Okay. From there, I got a couple rules. Guard and protect your time like your life depended on it. Second, anytime somebody brings you something, ask very early on, when do you need this back by? Because what that's going to reveal to you is the level of urgency. Third rule, never let somebody's urgency turn into your emergency. So for that person who's trying to run a business, take care of the family, and working a 9 to 5, are you controlling your time? Are you allowing others' urgency to turn into your emergency? Are you guarding and protecting your time like your life depended on it? I promise you, if you live by some rules, some standards, some expectations, you'll be able to manage it all. But you also got to give yourself grace and understand that you ain't going to be perfect. And I think that that's also what comes with it. That individual who has everything on their plate as a single parent also don't give themselves grace for not being perfect.
Yeah. Man, that reminds me of a previous episode, a few episodes back, that I had with a young lady. And that was one thing she mentioned, about that grace when you don't finish a project, because that's me. Well, and that's something I'm working on now, is that everything can't be finished in a day. And I got to give myself that grace. I'm bad about that even at work myself. So, and it's even worse with my business, because I'm holding myself responsible.
Yeah. We always give ourselves passes that we don't give to other people. When other people don't meet our deadline, we be on them. But we don't hold ourselves to that same standard. But at the end of the day, whose deadline or timeline really matters?
Yeah.
Nobody's but God's, really.
Yeah.
Right. It's always about his timing, no matter what you want to do. You ever start out on working on a project and you say, I'm finna burn the midnight oil till this get done.
Yeah.
And then fall asleep because you so exhausted.
Yeah.
Your body don't care nothing about what you told yourself you was gonna do. Your body say, nope, it's time to shut down. At the end of the day, we could try our best to meet deadlines, and you should do things on time and decent and in order. But at the same time, you got to recognize that if you're not at your full mental capacity and this thing requires your full attention, right?
Yeah.
You're going to do a haphazard job anyway. So then it's going to be poor quality and you're going to end up having to do it over, or you're going to miss out on an opportunity because you never did put in enough quality work. So you have to ask yourself, is it quantity or is it quality that you're going for?
Yeah. And I think sometimes too, I've asked people in my time with people when they say they don't have enough time. I ask them, well, write everything down. I give them a sheet that has, every hour on it. And sometimes I leave a little gap, because it may be a 10:30 or a 10:15 in there too. So they start realizing just how much time they have and how much they're wasting too.
Yep.
And we also don't understand the importance of rest.
Recovery.
Yeah, because we spend so much time telling people that's building their businesses, their purpose and stuff, you got to sacrifice some time. You got to sacrifice some time. But what we also don't realize, we're sacrificing some health too.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially as men, like that was something that I had to realize, is that my mental health, I didn't realize how important it was. When you asked me who Coach Vic was, I had no knowledge, no awareness of how important my mental health was. I was kind of aware of it in the fringes that, I got to be right mind in order for my body to be able to operate at maximum capacity. But I didn't understand how important it was for my mental health to be in tip-top shape so that I could perform at tip-top level.
Yeah.
Men, you're just supposed to keep going. Men, society says, we say to each other, don't show any weakness. And being tired was a form of weakness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I gave you this example in sports, football, especially, they tell you don't bend over. There's no air down there when you get tired, right? You got to stand up tall, sit up straight, right? Get you some air up here. What I realized, anytime I stopped moving, I bent over, because when coach blew the whistle, I'm up. Even as tired as I am, I'm up. My upper body is up. Even when I was in my best shape, if I stopped, I wanted to bend over, and that's a sign of weakness. So in between reps, I would just walk in a circle. Try to bend over when you move. It's hard. It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
Even if you dead exhausted, try to bend over while still moving. I promise you won't. I can still hear while I'm moving. So I stayed in proximity. And at first it used to upset my coach. He was like, you got to sit still. I said, coach, if I sit still, I'm gonna bend over. Which would you rather have? Me standing up and hearing you while I move, or me bent over, huffing and puffing? Which one? Next thing you know, our whole squad started moving. None of us bent over. Now imagine when the enemy, the opponent, looks over, and every time they see us, we move. We don't never stop. We ain't never bent over. In the beginning, everybody up, but by the end of the game, we still moving, and we looking you square in your eye. That's how I attack adversity in my life. I'm gonna keep moving. I might not be moving as fast and as hard as I was at the beginning, but I'm gonna keep moving. That's me.
Man, as you were saying all of that, that instantly reminded me of something that I read in the book, The Art of War.
Mm-hmm.
You never let your enemy know when you're weak, when you're tired, or, you don't let the opposition know these things.
Yep.
Because the opposition is going to start working even harder, because it's like, oh, they ain't tired.
Yeah. You telling the opposition they got a chance.
Yeah, man, that is good. Yo, what's up, fam? This is your boy K Noel back again. Yo, check this out. For all my authors, my business owners, my coaches out there, are you looking to get your business, your book, your program in front of another audience? Then this is for you. Relentless Conversations is looking to partner with you. Yes, you. So what I need you to do right now, all serious inquiries, email right now, podcast@relentlessmotivationalgroup.com. Hey, I'm looking to hearing from you so we can work together to strive to go forward. All right, let's go. Goals. How many goals have you set up for yourself when you gave up because it was too hard? How many times did you feel you weren't good enough because the journey seems tedious? I too felt this way, but then things changed. I realized I had to change how I think. I had to change who I was. I had to be relentless. I am K Noel. I want to tell you about my book, Be Relentless. It teaches how to understand your roar, your design path, hitting your mark, and much more. Purchase your copy of Be Relentless today at www.relentlessmotivationalgroup.com. It's not just another book. It's a movement. So are you ready to be relentless? Let me ask you this. What does purpose mean to you?
Man, purpose is everything. You know, me and Shane, we named the show Purpose Addicts for a reason. Purpose is everything because it is the real fuel that keeps us moving. When we talk about being able to look the enemy in the eye, your purpose is what motivates you. It pulls you, it compels you from your core to keep going, to stand up tall, to face adversity, stand on your square. Purpose is also about serving others. Purpose is what energizes you to help other people. So for me, purpose is not just falling in love with the thing that you enjoy most, but being so compelled to be a part of that thing, to touch it, to be near it, that it makes you sick to your stomach that you can't live it.
Yeah.
Like that's what purpose is. That's what it means to be addicted to your purpose.
So what you're telling me, because you mentioned serving. So my purpose isn't all about just me?
Never. It can't be. It can't be if you want it to be effective. Now, a lot of times purpose starts out serving ourselves. But right. The question is, do you have enough awareness to recognize how your purpose is helping other people? Because I guarantee you, you'll get more inspired and you'll become more committed to fulfilling your purpose when you realize that there are other people counting on you. When you are just serving you, eventually you're going to get complacent. You're going to get content.
Yeah.
If your purpose just serves you, you're going to run out. But when you recognize your reach, when you recognize the amount of people who need you and need your purpose and the gap that you feel, you'll never stop. You'll keep going.
So what you're telling me, the podcast, the content, that's not just for me. That's not just for me to show off or look who I am, but it's more so to help other people.
Exactly.
I really want you, the listeners and the viewers, to really understand that, because like I told you, I bringing in people who is going to impact your life. And I think sometimes people think about the first thing they think about is the money. But can you do it for free?
Mm-hmm.
That's the first question.
Yep. Would you do it for free? Yeah. If they wouldn't pay you, would you still do it? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like you talk about following me on social media. So people don't know this. I wasn't on social media for like 10 years. I didn't really get back on social media till about, at this point, it's 2022, probably three and a half years ago. People don't know this. They think I've been out there forever. I share motivational messages every day. Here's why. I have been doing that for me for 10 years. And Shane, my co-host on the show, kept pushing me, dude, you need to share this out publicly. For what? People need to hear this, is what he said to me. He said, other people need this. The same stuff that you be talking to me about and that you keep to yourself, people need to hear this. Like a lot of the content people see that I share on my social media, that's from years ago that I have been reading and digesting and feeding into my spirit from years ago.
Yeah.
Like the new stuff that I'm getting put onto, I ain't even put out yet, because I finally realized that, yes, other people do need this. I'm not the only one who needs some daily motivation, who need an encouraging word.
Yeah.
Other people need this. And when I started putting it out there, I didn't do it for the likes. I didn't do it because, oh man, that many people hit the like button, saved it, shared it. I started doing it because it was confirmation that, yes, other people like you need this in their life. And if we're going to make the world a better place, we got to have more positive thinking people. You can't do it by yourself.
I'll say this, the one thing that I love, about putting the motivation and stuff on social media is because with everything that social media shows, the constant shootings, the gossip on what's going on with this celebrity and that celebrity, we're the rock that's being thrown in the water that cause a ripple effect. We're changing emotion, where the water was constantly doing this. We're constantly doing this with social media. We got the negativity going on. Oh, now we got this constantly. So now we're going to show this person being shot. We're going to show this about 300 times. We're going to show this other stuff because we want to affect your mental. And now people are mentally being drained. They're mentally being depressed. But oh, here comes this rock. And when that rock hits the water, if you notice, it ripples and it's like it's spreading everything. And so when we throw that rock of motivation in there, we're changing the game up now. Now we're giving your mental to think about something else. We're giving your mental to think about your purpose. We're giving your mental to focus on something else other than the norm. Yeah, we see this negative stuff going on, but here's a rock. What can you do to impact this change? Because I always go back to this quote by Tupac. He said he wants to be the person that ignites somebody else, that sparks a thought in somebody else's brain that they can change the world. So with us throwing that rock, we're sparking something in somebody else's mind. We're igniting somebody else, and we're motivating, we're pushing somebody else to open their eyes to see something else, that I can be something that can be a change in the world. So yeah, man, I'm loving that, just the motivational piece. Yeah, do we have moments that we're going through our stuff? Absolutely. But we also see the purpose in motivating other people too.
Yo, what's up, you guys? It's your girl, Treaty LPC. Have you ever wondered why you won't let others get close to you? Does it bother you that you feel disconnected from family members and friends? Do you think that you might have imposter syndrome? Well, be sure to tune in to the Self-Aware and Effed Up podcast to learn more about yourself, as well as taboo topics in mental health. Also, be sure to follow me, Treaty LPC, on all social media platforms under the handle Treaty LPC.
Yo, what's going on, fam? This is your boy, Noel. Look, a lot of you have been asking me questions on what did I do to get started? How did I pattern out my episodes? How did I reach out to different guests? Well, here's your opportunity now to learn everything that I have done leading up to episode 50. I will show you how to monetize. I will show you how to reach out to different guests. I'm showing you so much behind the scenes stuff that I do in my own podcast. So coming soon is my podcast course. Be sure to tune in and check it out. All right? Noel, your Relentless Motivator. Now I'm motivating you to start your podcast. I'm out.
All right. So now we're gonna switch lanes for a minute.
Okay.
All right. So in the survey, in the form that I had you fill out,
Yeah.
I asked you your favorite speakers. And man, you listed some good speakers, man. And, and do you remember the speakers you mentioned?
The first thought is Inky. I love Inky Johnson. I think I put ET in there because I do love ET.
Yeah.
I think I put Jeremy Anderson.
No, you didn't put.
I didn't put.
No.
Who was my third?
You pick TD Jakes.
Oh yeah.
Malcolm X and MLK.
Yep.
So
yep.
I ain't gonna lie, because Inky is one of my favorite motivational speakers. I started to go straight to Inky. So this portion is called "Let's Talk About It."
Okay.
So in the "Let's Talk About It" part, I did some research. I do some research now, and I find clips of one speaker, and we're gonna break that down and talk about it. So you don't even know who the speaker is. Of course, you know it's not Inky. I really wanted to pick Inky. I ain't gonna lie, because Inky's my guy. But
okay. Okay. All right.
So
who you got?
Let's go. I'm gonna share this clip.
You do not build your business on where you are or where you've been. You build your business on where you're going. So then, if you are building for the future, then you have to reimagine your strategy.
All right, let's talk about it.
Yeah, man. Listen, he hit that on the head. Too many people are kidnapped by their past, which leaves them stuck right where they are and makes it impossible for them to imagine where they could possibly go, right?
Yeah.
He said, you cannot build your business based on your past and where you are. You have to build it based on your future. And I think that that's the difference maker between the good ones and the great ones. That's the difference maker between those who execute and those who don't. Standards and expectations. This is something that I live my life by. I try to impart on my family, my kids, and I try to encourage the world in. Standards represent your past and everything that's been. It's the standard, right? Expectations is all about the future and what's possible. And a lot of times the gap between those two is right here in the middle.
Yeah.
What do you believe is possible based on your past? What do you believe is possible based on things that have always been? Your family has always lived in the hood. Do you believe that you can live somewhere else? Your family has never owned a business. Your family has never graduated from college. Your family has never played professional sport. Your family has never worked in corporate America. Your family has never left the state, the city, the neighborhood, the street. What do you believe? It always comes back here. And so what he's talking about, that let's talk about it. Let's talk about how many people are kidnapped from their future because their past has them held hostage.
Wow.
Whew, that'll preach all by itself, won't it?
Yeah. Man, I already got the name for this episode. We're going to call this episode The Bridge. And it goes back to what we were just talking about. Sometimes we got to go before them and build the bridge.
Yeah. And
one scripture that God has really been putting in me as of late, and I've been using this as it pertains to my business as far as the community and everything, where Jesus said, I go before you and build a place.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we have to have that mindset that we have to go before the people. I have to change the dynamics for my family, so I have to go before them. We want to break generational curses. Well, I have to go before them.
Yep.
It's power in going before them.
Yeah.
Because if you keep going, holding on to the past, you would never go before them because you're lining up in the same formation as everybody else.
Yep.
When I was locked up, we used to have to go out on detail. And when we used to get off that van, we used to have to line up in formation. And the guard would tell us, you don't look to the left, you don't look to the right, you look straight ahead. And everybody was falling in line. Now, it's a crazy part. We used to have some people that would break the formation every night, because we was working in at a high school. We used to go clean it up. And of course, some of the kids, they would want to throw us some food or something, like that. They'll probably leave, we'll see them and they'll leave a box with a donut in it. Me, I'm a funny person, so I'm gonna stay in the formation. But you had this other guy, he would break the formation and he would grab that donut.
Yeah.
He would break the flow of everything that was going on. We was following a direction of what was set before us. Man, that is good.
It is.
And when would you break the formation of what mom and daddy said, what grandmama and granddaddy said? When are you going to break that formation and do something different? Mm-hmm. When are you going to grab that donut? Because your purpose is enticing you. Your purpose is calling to you and say, come over here. Come over here. I got this set aside for you. Yeah. But if we never break the formation and grab that donut, good God, if we never break that formation and grab that donut, we're just going to follow suit with everybody else. We're not looking to the left. We're not looking to the right. We're looking straight ahead, following in this same generational curse.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't expect different doing the same thing. You want different, you got to do different. You want better, you got to do better.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's so good.
Yeah, man. I love that clip, man. Yeah.
That's powerful. That's powerful right there when you think about understanding what's possible in your life.
Yeah.
That ripple effect, all because you break formation.
Yeah.
Think about the ripple effect that has reverberating back on your family. Like that's, for me, when I think about my kids, I share this example. We used to live in Cincinnati, and for Thanksgiving, my wife and I would host. Her family lives in Cincy, my family from Florida, but we would host her family. They would always come over. My brother-in-law, this is when I used to drink. He would always come over. He would bring me a bottle of my favorite drink, and we would have a drink on Thanksgiving while we watched the game.
Right.
I would put it in a little red cup like everybody else do. We would be sitting down on the couch. And one Thanksgiving, my son, he's about 9, 10 years old. He comes up to me and he says, "Hey, aren't you going to have a drink?" And I said, "I got one." And I had a little red cup. I held it up, but I just had some juice in it. Wow. He said, "Aren't you going to have a drink?" I said, "I got one." He said, "No, aren't you going to have a drink? You and Uncle Mike, y'all always have a drink on Thanksgiving." And it dawned on me in that moment. Previous Thanksgivings, he would always ask me when we would be pouring ourselves a drink, "Can I have some?" We say, "No, that's for adults. You have to wait till you get grown." It was also in that moment that I realized how much he paid attention to me and my actions and what I do. Yeah. It was then in that moment that I said, I wonder if he think when you come home from work, having a long day, you're supposed to drink. I wonder what else he think a man's supposed to do from watching my actions. I gotta change the way I move.
Yes, sir.
I gotta act different. I gotta think different. I gotta speak different. And now because of that, because of a decision back then to stop drinking, to stop allowing him to see those things, my son, that ain't something he really owned. He's 20, 21, 22 years old, right? He a grown man. He can make those decisions, but we talk about decisions. He understands the impact of his decisions. He's playing chess at 21, not the game, but life.
Yeah.
All because of a decision I made to break the line. Because I'll tell you, drinking runs in my family. My daddy drank, my granddaddy drank, the uncles drank, they drank. And they didn't think about or care about the kids seeing them drink because the tradition was, that's grown people stuff. You do that when you're grown. That was the tradition. We thought it wasn't harmful. We didn't pay attention to our decisions, the impact of it. Yes, you're guiding them saying that's a grown person drinking. When you get grown, you make that kind of decision. But what else are you showing them and teaching them?
Yeah.
What are you showing them is possible? What are you showing them is not possible? All with your actions.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what that makes me think of. That's so powerful, bro.
Yeah, man. Wow. So I'm gonna let you, we're gonna come to an end now, because I want to end it on that note, because it was just so powerful. But I want you to, speak it to the lives of the listeners and viewers, anything that's on your heart. We're gonna hang it there.
Yeah. I tell you what's been on my heart is a reminder that I got a little ways back about the difference between grace and mercy.
Yeah.
We mentioned earlier about giving ourselves grace, but regardless of what anybody else believes, I'm a man of faith. I believe in God. I know who my Savior is. And what I found in learning about the definition of grace and mercy is that grace is God giving us the things we don't deserve. Mercy is Him not giving us everything we do deserve. Grace is God giving us what we don't deserve. Mercy is Him not giving us what we do deserve. So when I think about my life and the decisions that I made that I should have been punished for, as people think about the things that we've done that we should have been punished for and we weren't, that's God showing us mercy. And if He can show us mercy, we can show ourselves mercy and give ourselves grace to also believe that we can have things that maybe our past say we shouldn't. Maybe our upbringing say we shouldn't. Maybe our parents say we shouldn't. Maybe our friends don't believe that we can.
Yeah.
Give yourself grace and mercy. Understand where your grace and mercy comes from. And if you find yourself in a circle of people who don't believe that greater is possible, if you can't change the people around you, then baby, you need to change the people around you. If I was going to leave anybody with anything, it's that. Look at your circle. Watch out for the zeros. Get rid of them.
Yeah. Absolutely. Hey, where can everyone find you at?
Absolutely, man. The best place to find me, if you're on Instagram, one of my favorite platforms is Coach Vic 20, Coach Vic 20. That's an important number to me. It means so much in my life. And as you lean in and get to know me, you'll slowly understand what that number means to me and my family about what's possible. But Coach Vic, VIC, that's the best place to connect with me, or go to my website, elevatedauthority.com. There you can learn about what I do and how I serve the various communities from my professional career as a speaker, as a leadership development coach, as a diversity, equity, and inclusion strategist. The last place I'll send you to, as always, Purpose Addicts Podcast, baby. Me and my best friend, Shane. Man, it's a dope show, dope content, and we have dope guests on. You can catch us weekly. One of the best places to learn how to live life on purpose.
Yeah, y'all be sure to check out that podcast, man. It's dope, man. It's just like you see him dropping the gems here. You find that with him and Shane on the podcast. So,
yeah,
bro, I just want to thank you. I absolutely thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking the time out to talk with me, to have this conversation. So I do not take it for granted. You releasing your time to take this moment with me. As for my listeners and my viewers, you already know the drill. Whatever time of the day it is, whether it's morning, day, noon, or night, make the best of each day. Leave no days left behind and be relentless. And with that said, I'm K. Noel, your relentless motivator, and we are out.
We're choosing to unlock the treasures from within. Winners don't back down, now we move forward. Destiny awaits, you got the power, so now roar. This is Relentless Conversations. Destiny awaits, you gotta move forward. Never back down, man, we always move forward. We got the power, it's locked within. My friend, you never give in, cause it's your time to win. This is Relentless Conversations.